was being real with self. My life has seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real weapons being real with self. My life has seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money.
I know you
like Kanye West said, having money is not everything, not having it is. Deuteronomy 8:18 that God gives us the ability to create money. No, it's the love of money that's wrong. You don't like money so much, why do he doesn't go to work? Yes, I do think about money. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. Cortez.
Good morning, Black world, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. Truly an honor, privilege, and a blessing to be coming to you live and direct from the Black Wealth Movement Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Guys, if you are not familiar with the Black Wealth Movement, basically it is the revolution. What is the Black Wealth Movement? It is the revolution. What revolution are you talking about, Cortez? It is the economic empowerment revolution, the only revolution that has ever existed. See, what media has often done is taken the economic empowerment revolution and they've always spent it to make it a social revolution. It has never been a social revolution. We can care less about being social. We need to be economically empowered. But they get us all up in arms about social issues, and we get so caught up in that, not realizing that the social issues will all but fade away if we got our economic issues in order. So the Black Wealth Movement is doing that on a personal level first. We will help an individual take a $20 investment, turn that into a $200 to $600 pay increase on their job. Then we take that pay increase and we teach them how to systematically use that to eliminate debt, build an emergency fund, and start investing. While we're doing that, we're helping them fix their credit. While we're doing that, we're teaching them investment strategies and where to look for double-digit returns and how the whole investment game works so we can build generational wealth. And as we're doing that individually, we're not losing sight of the collective community, because once enough of us get our personal finances in order, we're going to lock arms and we're going to start attacking some of the social issues in our communities. But you cannot develop a community without capital. You cannot empower a community economically without first empowering that community with financial literacy. And that's what we're doing. And I need some soldiers to go to battle with to help me teach economic empowerment, wealth building principles and strategies to other brothers and sisters all over the country and eventually all over the world. And those who have the consciousness to do the right things with their money, those are the people that we're going to lock arms with, and we're going to start building our communities together. So if you're interested in the Black Wealth Movement, make sure that you go to, just send me a text, Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. Text Black Wealth Movement to 314-86887. I'd love to get you some information about our overview, the company that drives the Black Wealth Movement, how that all works. I would love to do that for you guys. Do me a huge favor. If you're checking us out on YouTube, then make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will hit our goal of 2,000 subscribers in the month of April. And we are sitting just shy of 1,900 subscribers. If I can get my monitor here to work. So let me see. So I can pull up the YouTube family and see where we are with our subscribers. So I give you the specific number, but go ahead and make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you can interact with the show on YouTube the same way as they do on Facebook. I can see your comments real time. So all you got to do is comment in the chat. What's going on? Tia Alicia is in the building. Kazillionaire Tia Alicia is in the building. Good morning, Queen. So you can interact with the show and I can see your comments real time. But we are sitting at 1,894 subscribers. So let's make sure we break to 1,900 today. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And make sure you rate the show, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you decide. Just make sure you rate the show and interact with the show as we go throughout today's show. Also, those of you who are checking us out on Facebook, do the same thing. If you have not already liked the Financial Health Mentor page, make sure you like the page and turn on your notifications. I post good content to this site every day, man. There's about 7 good posts that will help you understand money, finances, success, wealth, taxes, all that kind of stuff, man, to keep you encouraged, upbeat, and motivated that, hey, we are doing great things in the world of building generational wealth. Just not a lot of people talking about them. So I like to bring those things to the forefront. So make sure you like and share the page and share today's video. Everybody take a pause real quick and hit the share button right now. Not right now, right now. Because that's your price of admission for hanging out with Talking Money in the morning, just hitting the share button. Simple price of admission. Go ahead and share the stream. There's a lot of people struggling with Blackrophobia, and I want to help people understand this. I like that AB said he had to explain that to somebody. See, we coined this phrase last year on this show, and we're going to talk about specifically what it means. But also, before I do that, I want to let you guys know that if you want to support the show, then I want to do something for you. I want to give you my free book, Financial Health Traffic Report. I want to give you a free PDF copy of this book. But if you want to support the book or support the show, when you download your free book, click on the link in the description. When you download your free book, you will also see your opportunity to purchase the print copy as well as some coaching. You not only will purchase that book, you get both of my books, a 1-month subscription to my Branding and Marketing Academy, which is called Monetize My Life Academy, and you get a free 15-minute coaching session with our smallest bundle. And that coaching session is usually people wanting to go over the W-4 form, and I can show you how to fill it out correctly and make sure that you're not overpaying your taxes. And that usually creates an increase of about $100, $150 per month back into your paycheck when you fill that thing out correctly. So that's how you support the show. This is listener-supported media. I don't ask for donations. I just try to sell quality products that you guys would enjoy and that will help you along your way. So let me see who we got in the building real quick, and we're gonna get into this Blackrophobia thing, man. So Angel is in the building out of NYC, Dia Moore Catering out of Houston, Texas, Wendy's on, Asia Alexander, the Alexander Advantage College Prep Specialty Scholarship and Realtor in the building, Rochella out of Lincoln Park, the Learn and Earn coach is with us out of Cleveland, Mississippi. And of course, Park Ball and Life Mentoring out of Toledo, Ohio is always in the building. Tito Leaks, what's going on, my brother? And AB said, I had to explain that the other day to somebody because he has it posted. And people always ask you, what does Blackrophobia mean? I've got to get some bad t-shirts done with Blackrophobia on it, man. I probably should be trying to trademark it and copyright it or something. But for those of you who do not know what we mean by Blackrophobia, Coach Barbara Steve is in the building from Memphis, Tennessee. Welcome to the show. Let me know if you guys, if there are any first-time viewers on the show, let me know if it's your first time. We want to welcome you. We like to do a special welcome for our first-time viewers. But go ahead and hit the show share button if you're just jumping on. For those of you who do not know, Blackrophobia is a combination of course, black, which represents black folks, and the word acrophobia. If you guys know what acrophobia means, that is that innate fear of heights. When somebody has a fear of heights, they usually say, I'm scared of heights. But the technical term, the medical term for that is called acrophobia. Well, guess what? Black people have acrophobia in a different sense. We're not all scared of physical heights, but there is an innate fear of ascending to new heights and success in terms of being great. There is an innate fear that has been instilled in us since the beginning of our sojourn here in America, right? And what we want to do is break down some of the self-sabotaging behaviors that come out of that, and help you understand that that is a real fear, right? So Blackrophobia is Black folks' innate fear of ascending to new heights. That's something that we came up with last year as we was doing some studies, and this show is worth repeating. This show at least once a year, man, because when you start to understand where we've come from and why we do the things we do, and why we hate on each other and hate on ourselves, you have to look back into our history. And when you look back into that history, you will see that there was a time that for us to ascend to new heights would literally get us killed. And because of that issue, that has been encoded in our DNA in a strange way. And that's why we do a lot of self-sabotaging. So we're going to talk a lot about self-sabotaging today. And tomorrow we're going to talk about some things that you can do to overcome self-sabotaging. But we experience some trauma that literally every time a Black person would ascend to any type of height and any type of success, that person would literally find themselves threatened to the brink of their life threatened, their family threatened, and all those sorts of things. So as that happened to us for centuries, then we started to say, okay, let's not be great at anything, right? Let's not even attempt to be great at anything because it could cost us our lives, right? So that mentality has been encoded into our DNA. So we self-sabotage a lot of our own successes. And believe it or not, some of you guys are not going to like what I'm about to say, but believe it or not, that is the true reason that people hate on you. Believe it or not, 80% of the people who hate on you out of love because of this mechanism that is encoded in our DNA. When they see you ascending to great heights, they're hating on you out of love to say, Negro, if you keep poking your head up above the crowd trying to be great, that could cost you your life. And that's where all hate really comes from. When people start hating on you, that's where it is really coming from. It's coming from the depths of our psychological trauma that we've experienced. So when people are hating on you, really is done out of love because we were trained to do that. Have you ever seen a mother talk bad about her child even after someone has given them compliments? Right? If you guys are not familiar with post-traumatic slave syndrome as outlined by Dr. Joy DeGruy, she talks about this experiment or witnessing this all the time. You would sit back and you go to parent-teachers conference with your kid, right? And the teacher would say something great about your child's brilliance, and the mom would be like, oh, man, this little foolish boy, no, he can't be this great. And start downplaying the compliment and not wanting to receive that the son is intelligent. Now, if you didn't have any recollection of or understanding of what post-traumatic slave syndrome did, you wouldn't understand why a mother couldn't receive a compliment about how smart and intelligent her son was or her daughter was. But here's the thing. Here's what post-traumatic slave syndrome taught us, or here's what slavery taught us during those times, right? And here's why our sisters can't even take a compliment today. Here's why our Black woman, you can't say to a Black woman, sister, you look awfully sharp today. And she comes back immediately with a negative retort, right? Here's why. Slavery taught us that when we were getting compliments from people in positions of authority, something bad followed that. So when our sisters were running around the plantation and somebody in authority, whether it was an overseer or a slave owner, started to give them compliments, that usually meant they were in line to be raped. When our sisters would stand there with their child and the overseer would say, oh, that young boy is developing nicely. He's going to be a strong, strapping young man, or probably young buck back then. The sister, the mother, in her protection mode would immediately start beating down his positive attributes. Oh, this little scrawny boy, he's never going to be nothing. No, master, he's not, right? Why is she downplaying his attributes? Because she knows what's going to follow. If she says, yes, you should have seen him in the shack, master, lifting everything. The boy is strong, he's fast, he's going to be a leader in this community. If she started playing him up real big, he gets snatched away at 6 years old and get taken to the field. So there's a lot of what we do intrinsically have been ingrained in us because of post-traumatic slave syndrome, and we self-sabotage all the time because of this mechanism. And because we don't know where it stems from and why it exists, we just look at it as hate. Oh, somebody hating on you. Are you hating on yourself? No, you are actually ill. And no one has ever diagnosed you, so you don't know you're ill. Right? It has been ingrained in our brothers to be bucks. This player mentality, this have children all over the place and get up and walk away and never give a second thought about them, that has been ingrained in our DNA. When they had the slave farms, the sex farms, right? So we've got some mentalities that we got to break that are literal illnesses, and some of these mentalities are causing this self-sabotaging. So Blackrophobia this is something we've coined here on this show. It is our Black people's innate fear of ascending to new heights. Because we're afraid of ascending to new heights, we self-sabotage and we sabotage each other. Self-sabotaging, the definition is thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that work against one's own interests. Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that work against one's own interests. Now, what most people don't get about self-sabotaging, it is actually a self-created safety mechanism. We set up a self-sabotaging system to keep us safe from disappointment. We created this system to self-sabotage to keep us safe from disappointment. I don't want to go after my dreams, because if I fail, I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to feel shame. So instead of going after them and having the potential failure show up in my life where I will be shamed, I'm not even going to go after them at all. Right? Self-sabotage is a conflict between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Consciously, you want something. Unconsciously, you have pre-programmed yourself to not go after what you want. It's a conflict between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. I'm saying to myself, I want to be rich out loud, consciously. But subconsciously, I can't stand wealthy people. Subconsciously, I can't stand the habits that are required of me to become wealthy. So self-sabotage is it's a conflict between your conscious and your subconscious mind. What are some of the things that self-sabotaging will do? Hold you back, prevent you from taking action and making sensible decisions. Right? It will hold you back, prevent you from taking action, prevent you from even making sensible decisions. If you guys are just jumping on, do me a favor, hit the share button and invite other people to come check us out this morning. Right? These are some of the things that you can do. Here's why people self-sabotage. Again, it's a coping mechanism or an insulation against disappointment. I don't want to be disappointed. Cortez, don't try to be a billionaire, because if you fall short, then people gonna laugh at you, because every morning on your show you kept telling people you were gonna be a billionaire. So don't even try. So that's an insulate. I'm trying to insulate myself from the disappointment of falling short of my goals. Right? Anybody else ever done that? I'm trying to insulate myself. So that's one of the things that you do in self-sabotage. Another reason that you might be self-sabotaging yourself is because you lack self-esteem, you lack self-worth, you lack self-discipline, and you lack self-belief, right? And all of those things sound the same, but self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, right? Your self-worth is how you feel or what you feel that you are worth. And you might have a very low self-worth. Man, I believe that I'm only worth 2 cents in a $1 billion society. I want you guys to think about that. Your self-worth could be so low that you can believe that you're only worth 2 cents in a $1 billion society. You guys know how much 2 cents is in comparison to $1 billion? Some people's self-worth are that low. Self-confidence. I don't even believe that I can get anything accomplished. Yeah, for years I was told, don't tell people my dreams, they may steal my. Yeah, I don't believe in that one, Ronald. A lot of people told me that too, but when you don't put it out there, nobody holds you accountable. And when there's nobody to hold you accountable, that's part of a self-sabotaging mechanism, right? Nobody knows that I'm trying to be a billionaire. So if I never get there, no, that's just a way for me to not be embarrassed, not feel shame about missing the mark. No, I tell everybody what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it. You know why? Because what's for me is for me. Can't nobody take that from me. Can't nobody take what's for me from me. Right? What's up, Alex? So self-worth is at what you believe you're worth. Self-confidence is your belief in what you can do and you can accomplish, right? And then self-belief has a lot to do with your spiritual connection with your creator, right? Not only if I'm created by God in his image and if I have a low self-belief, then I might also have a limiting belief in that which created me. And people don't want to hear that. You cannot believe in God and then turn around and not believe in yourself. Yeah, I'm going to run that one back. You cannot believe in God, then with the same tongue turn around and not believe in yourself. Because to not believe in yourself is to not believe in God who created you. All right, I'm gonna leave that right there. I don't think y'all was feeling that one right there. That truth bomb might have been an atom truth bomb. That might be spreading radiation right now, y'all. I'm gonna leave that right there. All right. So here's some other reasons why you self-sabotage. Inability to manage your emotional state. Inability to manage your emotional state. Right? We're talking about why we self-sabotage, and I'm gonna give you some things, some habits that you have that you might need to identify to kind of break up the self-sabotaging spirit and mechanisms that you have in place. And then tomorrow we're gonna give you 6 or 7 things that you can do to alleviate self-sabotage. Your inability to manage our emotions causes us to self-sabotage. Because again, because I can't properly manage the emotion of shame and embarrassment, I don't want to go through it. So because I don't want to go through feeling shame and embarrassed, I don't want to go after my dreams for the sake of falling short. Because if I feel embarrassed, I don't really know how to handle that. I don't really know how to control that emotion. When I'm feeling fearful, I don't really know how to control that emotion. So it causes me to self-sabotage my own success. Inability to manage our reactions to circumstances, people, and events. Again, man, if I try this and go hardcore and it doesn't work out, what are my family going to say to me when they see me at the family reunion? I don't know how to respond in those circumstances, amongst those people, in those events, amongst those circumstances where I've fallen short. Everybody knew I fell short, and now I got to face those people. I don't know how to respond and maintain my composure. So instead of me trying to go after a dream, instead of me putting my dreams out there and letting people know what I'm trying to accomplish, I keep them buried inside. That way, if I don't accomplish them, nobody ever knew that I was going for them in the first place. So now I avoid shame. So to not tell people publicly where you're going, it's a self-sabotaging mechanism because you're really trying to avoid shame. Worried about what others will think, man, that is one of the biggest self-sabotaging mechanisms that most people have. And you know what, Giovanni? Most people ain't thinking about you. We do this all the time, man. We start putting these things and these thoughts into the heads of the people around us. You see how she looked at me? I know what she's thinking. No, you don't. Chances are life is beating her down the same way it's beating you down, and she ain't got time to be thinking about you. Man, you heard what he said about you, right? Yeah, I know what he's thinking. No, you don't. Life is beating him down the same way it's beating you down. Chances are he's got very little time to be thinking about you. But these are self-sabotaging habits that we have, and that we can continue to put thoughts in other people's heads that allows us to limit the actions that we take because of what we think somebody is thinking about us. And when we come to the realization that no matter what you're thinking about me, you can't stop me. There's only one person on this planet that can stop me from being great. And you looking at them. Do I need to run that one back too? There's only one person on this planet that can stop me from being great. So what you think about me, what I think you think about me is irrelevant because you can't stop me. There's only one person on this planet that can stop me from being great, and that's me. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm through self-sabotaging. If you through self-sabotaging, put in the chat, I'm done stopping my own greatness. I'm done stopping my own greatness. So we can't manage our reactions to circumstances, people, and events. It's the reason why we don't. It's the reason why we self-sabotage. Here's how we self-sabotage. And if I say one of these things that is your thing, go ahead and comment it in the chat. Because one of the things that you have to do, if you're going to break free of anything, those 12-step programs, the reason they work is because they get you to do the number one thing you absolutely have to do. That is acknowledge where you are. So many people we refuse to acknowledge where they are. But what's the first thing that you do when you go to a 12-step program? You say your name and you acknowledge where you are. So if one of these are your thing, don't be afraid. This is the no judgment zone. Comment in the chat and say, Cortez, this is the main one I'm breaking. This is the main thing I'm stopping. Number one, fear of failure. Fear of failure. And you guys know what a fear of failure really is. It's really a fear of success. Most people say they're scared to fail, but you're scared to succeed because you know the amount of responsibility that come with success. Ask me how I know. Because I sabotaged myself for a long time because I didn't want this responsibility of to have to do things like I'm doing today. Well, I appreciate that, Ronald. He said these morning talks have changed my mindset, had to readjust my vision. And Ronald, so that's what I was alluding to, Ronald. I self-sabotaged almost my entire adult life because I was afraid of success because I knew the responsibility based on the call that God has on my life to have to do stuff like this to get a result like you just testified to. I didn't want that responsibility of having to be in a position to change or help someone adjust their vision. That's a lot of responsibility, brother. So I self-sabotaged. So I wasn't afraid of failure. Hell, I had been failing all my cotton picking life. Tia Alicia said, that is me. I'm afraid that I won't lead others correctly. You talking about somebody running from a calling. Tia Alicia, you talking about somebody running from their calling? Shoot, man. I wasn't trying to be this guy because I know the responsibility that comes with this. And I didn't want that. And here's what I tell people all the time. For the first 26 years of my life, I tried extremely hard to convince people that I really was who I was pretending to be. I don't know who that's for this morning, but for the first 26, 27 years of my life, I tried extremely hard to convince the world that I really was who I was pretending to be. And it wasn't until I accepted who I truly am that I start to live. I don't know who that's for this morning. So fear of failure is how we sabotage. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of making mistakes. We're afraid to make mistakes. Tia Alicia said, I don't want to lead anybody incorrectly. Right? I'm afraid of that. I don't want to make that mistake. And because I don't want to make that mistake, then I just put down the responsibility altogether. Fear of taking risks. These are the habits that we do. This is how we self-sabotage, right? Don't take risks because I'm afraid of what might happen. And I'm going to tell y'all, all you got to do is go back and look over your life at the times you actually did take a risk and see how it turned out for you. And I can almost promise you, you're winning more than you lose when you take risks. You know how I know? Because even at the moment you took a risk and it didn't work out for you right then and there, when you study that thing out, you will see that that initial failure after taking that risk, that all actually worked out to something great. And when you can evaluate your life like that, you'll see why you need to take more risks today. Can anybody agree? When you look back over your life and you look at those times where you did actually take a risk, you did actually allow yourself to be vulnerable, you did position yourself to where you could be embarrassed and shamed, but you did it anyway. You look at how that stuff turned out for you. And tell me right now today why you're not taking more risks. Tell me right. When you look back and you say, man, I took a risk. When me and my wife hooked up, that was a risk. She had 2 children already. I said, Lord, I don't ever want to marry no woman with children. I ain't got time for no baby daddy drama. We hooked up 22 years ago. I took a risk. When I look back over that life, that risk, and look at how it worked out. My wife took a risk. She didn't know that 4 years after we got together that I was going to lose my mind. And at that time, she took a risk because she could have walked away. I literally lost my mind. She could have walked away, but she took a risk. Said, I'm going to get him some help and we're going to stick this thing out because this thing is forever. She took a risk. And 18 years later, here we are still standing. Look at the times back over your life when you actually took a risk and tell me that they didn't ultimately work out. You might have stumbled a little bit. You might have fallen on your face a little bit. You might have got your knees scarred up. You might have scarred your elbow up. But when you look at the totality of the entire thing in its entirety, not in a vacuum, you look at it, okay, I took a risk. I failed. Here's what I learned. I applied that later. So actually that risk turned out to benefit me. And then tell me today why you're not taking more risks. I'll wait. Since I've acknowledged that I build slowly on the knowledge that I need to learn. There you go, Tia Alicia. This correct is very important. Content is very important to move forward and grow. Absolutely, I appreciate that. The risk takers are successful today. They are very successful today. Here are the habits of self-sabotage. When you recognize these habits in you, I want you to publicly declare that they're over, that they're done. These are no longer my habits. Procrastination. Yeah, when you're procrastinating, you know what you're doing. You self-sabotaging. Because you don't want this little bit of success because it's going to lead to more success. So I'm going to put it off. I'm going to put off even trying. I'm going to put off even trying. So when you recognize these habits, I want you to declare publicly, that was my habit. It's no longer. Procrastination is no longer my habit. I will no longer self-sabotage with procrastination. Perfectionism. Perfectionism. This one is so sneaky slick. You got to have everything perfect before you can move forward. No, that's just another way to procrastinate. Stop it. You ain't fooling nobody. Perfectionism, it's got to be perfect. So even though you've done enough of this project to move on to the next project, you're still fiddling and twiddling and trying to make this perfect when you should have moved on from this project 5 years ago. You got that book that you wrote and you should have put it out 5 years ago, but it's not perfect. You procrastinating. You're self-sabotaging is what you're doing. But trying to get it perfect feels to you like a better excuse. Oh, you know what? It just ain't right. I got to keep editing. I got to keep, smoothing out some rough edges. That sounds like a good excuse, but we know that you are self-sabotaging. Perfectionism. Everything's got to be perfect. Accepting people's advice without asking questions. Accepting people's advice without asking questions. You self-sabotaging. You know good and doggone well you don't need to be taking advice from that person. But if you take that advice and it don't work out, now you got somebody to blame. Stop it. Stop it. You know good and doggone well this person is not in a position to be giving you advice, but you're taking the advice, listen to what they say, you're doing what they say do so that you can fail and then turn around and blame them. Stop it. Inability to listen carefully, plan ahead. Inability to listen carefully and plan ahead. We all know people in our lives who are super sharp. And we're like, man, they just can't take directions for some reason, right? They just can't make a plan that works to save their lives. Yes, they can. They know exactly what they're doing. They're planning to fail because they're self-sabotaging. They are running from the responsibility that success will bring, so they play like they can't hear. They play like they can't listen. They play like they can't plot a course and make a plan. How about this one? I know a lot of y'all deal with this one. This is the one I deal with. The inability to say no. These are people who self-sabotage their own success by staying busy working on stuff for everybody else. Inability to say no. Somebody asks you to help them with a project. Oh, yeah, I can help you. Somebody asks you to do that. Oh, yeah, I got you. Can't say no. So you can't build your own thing because you busy building everybody else's thing. You know good and doggone well that's self-sabotaging your thing. But you don't want to say no because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You don't want to say no because it will free up your time to actually work on your thing, which you're scared to put out there because you don't want to fail, feel shame, feel embarrassed. So you say yes to everybody's beck and call, and that keeps you busy. So later in life, you'll be able to say, man, I shoulda, coulda, woulda done this, but I was busy helping this person, that person, and nah, man, stop it. Stop it. Right? Inability to consider consequences. Inability to think before making decisions. Inability to be flexible. That's another big one. You rigid in your thinking because when you are trying to make something happen and people are giving you alternate ways to get it done. No, I got to do it this way. Nope, this way. Stop it. You doing that because you know good and doggone well that way won't work. And that's your way of self-sabotaging. Instead of being flexible, saying, oh, let me try it this way. Let me try it that way. I'm going to make this thing work if I got to try it 1,000 different ways. Nope, I can only do it this way. It's got to be done this way. This is how I see it. This is my vision. This is how. Stop it. You're just doing it. You're just doing that so that you can self-sabotage. So you can say, I really, really, really tried to make it work. No, you didn't, because you only tried one way. There's 1,000 other ways you could have tried it, but you refused to try it that way because you self-sabotaging. Stop it. Constant worry. Come on, yeah, I can give a public declaration when I hit yours and declare that it's no more. Constant worry. But if I do this, that's going to happen. And that's not going to be good. And you just constantly making up things that's going to happen in a negative. You refuse to take a step in a positive direction because all you can see is a negative outcome. Well, I don't want to get too rich because if I get too rich, then somebody might rob me. See what I'm saying? I don't want to get rich because then somebody might try to kidnap one of my kids and hold them for ransom. So that's why I'm not really trying to get wealthy, Cortez. I don't want somebody to try to kidnap my wife and hold up a ransom. Stop it, man. Stop it. Unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations. People do that all the time. They set unrealistic expectations that they know can't be achieved so they can say, I tried, right? Right, Giovanni. Hey, man, I would get rich, Cortez, but then I don't want to move out the hood and people call me a sellout. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. Setting unrealistic expectations is another way that people self-sabotage. You know good and doggone well that couldn't be accomplished in 4 or 5 lifetimes, but you're going to say that's your goal. So when you don't meet it, then you have a valid excuse. I tried. Harshly judging yourself and others. These are habits of people who self-sabotage. If these are you, publicly declare that this is you no more, right? Complainers, all they do is complain about everything. All they do is complain. You can't do nothing good for these people. Can't nothing good happen in their lives, right? I mean, you can't even give them any money because they're gonna find something to complain about, right? Hey, I just want to bless you. I got this check for you for $50,000. I just want to be a blessing in your life. I don't know why Spirit led me to bless you. Thanks. But now I got to go set up a bank account. I don't have a bank account. I can't even cash the stupid check because I don't have a bank account. Well, thanks for nothing. You can't even bless some people without them complaining. Self-sabotage, man. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. See, if they keep complaining about the blessings that are coming in their life, the blessings will stop coming. And if the blessings stop coming, then there's no help to be successful. And then when the blessings don't come, they don't have any help to be successful. When they're not successful, they will say, nobody helped me. It's hard. I agree, Lisa D. It's it's not hard to break. It's hard to see the fruit of breaking it. And here's what I mean by that. You make a decision that is done, your life is forever changed. If you make a decision it's done, your life is forever changed. Now, here's what people don't do. Because a life change at the moment you made the decision, it's going to take a year, 18 months, 24 months for fruits of that change to be manifested. And because you don't see the fruits of that change in 30 days, you make a decision to go backwards. See, change happens in an instant. The manifestations of that change takes time to be seen in the physical realm, but change happens in an instant. You say what you're gonna stop doing today, and it's stopped. It's over with. It's a wrap. But the manifestations of the new D don't show up right away. Shows up 18 months from now, 24 months from now. Ask me how I know. Because Cortez made some decisions 5 years ago that's just showing up today. That just showed up yesterday. That just showed up last year. But the decision, the change happened in an instant 5 years ago. Didn't get any fruit from that change until today, until last year. Change happens in an instant. Always has, always will. You just have to remain in the change long enough for the fruit to bear. Right? It's like this, man. People say that you plant an acorn seed and then it becomes an oak tree. No, the acorn is an oak tree. Some of y'all gonna get that. People say, hey, I'm gonna take this seed and I'm gonna plant it and it's going to become an oak tree. No, it is an oak tree. It already is an oak tree. It just has to be placed in the right conditions in order for the oak tree to manifest itself. But the acorn is an oak tree. It doesn't become an oak tree. The caterpillar is a butterfly. It doesn't become a butterfly. You got it twisted. The caterpillar has always been a butterfly. It didn't become a butterfly. It was a butterfly the whole time, just in a different form. Still a butterfly. How do we know? Because a butterfly laid that egg. How do we know that an acorn is an oak tree? Because an oak tree produced a little oak tree. Right? So that was self-sabotage, Blackrophobia, right? Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to overcome self-sabotage. How do you fix it, Cortez? Now that we know what it is, how do we fix it? Now that we know what it is, how do we fix it? That's tomorrow. So you guys got to come back tomorrow to get the fix. Cool? Everybody cool with that? So again, if you guys want to support the show, be sure to go to click on the link in the description, download your free book, but you'll also see the option to buy one of my book bundles. Each bundle comes with a coaching plan and a membership to Monetize My Life Academy, which a lot of you guys are entrepreneurs and you need to learn how to market. Monetize My Life Academy gives you the courses and stuff to learn how to become a better marketer. If you are serious about if you're serious about building wealth, the Black Wealth Movement can help y'all do that, man. Right? But here's the thing. right? You guys been hearing me talk about the Black Wealth Movement and My Econ and Project 1000 and helping people build wealth for the last 3+ years. But you've been self-sabotaging. Too good to be true. Now, you can't help me with my money problems. My money problems are too great, right? We've been doing all of this self-sabotaging. It's $20 to start. When it was $70 to start, man, that's too much to start a financial success membership. When it was $100, that's too much to start. When it was $5, nah, there's something must be wrong if they let you start for $5. When it was $10, nah, that can't be. They're gonna give me all of these tools and resources to build wealth for just $10. Now it's $20. Like, nah, I don't know about that. So stop self-sabotaging. You need to build generational wealth. We can help you do it. You know you want to. Let's get it done, y'all. So I'm H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Until I talk to you tomorrow when we do part 2 of how to overcome self-sabotaging habits, I want you to get your money right or get your money up. Y'all made me forget my clothes. All right, so get your money up because you absolutely can do it, each and every one of you. Peace out, y'all.